Good morning, guys. Good morning. What is going on, guys? It is Monday, August 9th. How's everybody doing? Good Monday morning, hopefully. Hopefully everyone's well rested, etc. So obviously this morning we have our theme, right? Pre-market, Bitcoin is ripping. So just touched that 46K mark. So that was a nice big breakout for the Bitcoin names. Bitcoin now is kind of flagging in that 45.8 area, which is good. Just a quick disclaimer on everything. I want to see the breakout level of the 200 SMA on Bitcoin. That's what I'm looking at here, right? I want to see, if we look out, right, I want to see this break above this level right here, which is like the 47K mark, to really confirm long side moves. So that's where I'm going to be looking at. Coin news just came out, reiterated with a $400 price target. I don't know too much about that particular analyst, but it's very good news for this morning. Like I mentioned on the watch list, I think that there's a nice gap again over this 282 area. I'm definitely expecting us to test that area today. Should fill this gap up now that we have obviously broken out over that key level from Friday, right? I guess shame on me for scaling out, right? But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think we look really good here. Again, what I want to see if we go to that hourly, right, is I want to see a move to that 282 area. I think we've cleared this resistance really nicely now. Broke over highs from Friday, which was that 264-ish range. That was a key breakout level. And like I mentioned, guys, the daily is set up here. It's clear where the gap is at. But as I mentioned, I really do want to see Bitcoin now break that 200 SMA. I think that's going to be a really nice long trigger for a lot of the names that are lagging. So just keep that in mind. Guys, when you buy and sell is, totally up to you, right? This is a really nice swing from Friday. I'm, happy with the trade, the way the trade has worked out so far. This is a really nice move. I mean, we do have earnings this week, so just remember those option prices are going to have the increased IV, theta decay obviously as well. But I think these can be a really nice mover, especially if we break 282. I'll probably scale some in that 282 area, about half of what I have left, and then hold the other half for a possible, parabolic move. But coin's been teasing this breakout for a long time. This has been a good 3.5 months coming, right, of just consolidation in this range. So I think this thing's kind of ready to blow. And I think it is honestly lagging compared to some of the miners. Couple other names I want to talk about today. Mara, very, very strong. I mentioned long side trigger for me is over this 3650-ish range, right? I'm probably gonna use 3650 as the trigger. Nice name that's set up. Riot has earnings after hours today, so I won't be touching it as far as like long side anything. But this one looks really nice. Obviously, it's ran a lot as well. So if Bitcoin names stay hot through tomorrow, then obviously Riot will be a nice possible mover. As far as the sympathy plays, right? Now we're getting into some of the miners that have obviously not ran, right, as much, right? And SOS is pretty bottom down here in the twos. Saw a really nice move up in pre-market this morning. Touched that 4 area, right, which we talked about. That 377 is a big resistance. What I want to see off open is I'd like to see SOS confirm 315.9, so like the 317 area. I'd obviously like to hold this level. If we got to pull back to this level, that would be a buy spot for me. And the name interests me, right? But I don't want to chase at 4. Entry ideally for me is under, this 340 area. It's where the risk reward is there for me. Usually we do get one nasty dip on all these names before, right, they actually rip. So just keep that in mind, right? Make sure you're gauging your support levels correctly. Hut, really nice mover again. Congrats to anyone still in those 7.5 calls. It's going to be a big move this morning. Over 7 now. I talked about this last night. Huge move over the 5 level, 520-ish. It's set up to probably go 10 plus. So just keep that in mind. One I really do like, BTBT obviously has gone nuts, right? This is insane, this move, right? What is it, like 4 or 5 daily candles in a row? Just be this one tiny little pullback on that offering. Since then, it's just been like a nonstop grind. So what I want to look at on this is for a move that's something similar, similar float size, right? Like similar setup. In my opinion, I think SPRT is set up in that sense, right? Like if we look, it's not as pretty as maybe, the BTBT chart where we had just like a massive, like crazy gap to like 40, right? But this one is a clean mining name, which is like something that's being pushed obviously really heavily right now. So for me, right, I think that similar float size, I like the setup in terms of the theme and the sentiment around the space that it's in. So I would look, obviously huge breakout level is 960, right? I believe this did actually touch 10 after hours. So I want to see a move over 10 as far as like a breakout trigger. I may just get long on this one because I think it is definitely going to fill that gap up to like 970-ish. If the names stay hot, and then obviously over that level, I think we could see a really, really big like $4 to $6 move on this at least. With the way the market cap is right now, I could see 20. And like I said, I think it's like a 15 million float or something like that. Really, really small. Another one ripped really hard this morning pre-market. This is why I'm saying that I think SPRT can be really good today, is because Any is hot. It's got a lot of really good volume, major weekly breakout, and it's consolidating at its breakout level, right? So I think honestly, this is going to be this. Any has a really nice setup to be a huge gapper today, because you guys see how bullish this is, right? We broke out this morning, touched 650, right? Now we've come back down, right? And what we're doing is we're retesting this breakout level. Although it touched 613, right? You want to look at where that daily or that hourly candle, right, close. So in reality, as long as we hold above this level, right, this 570 level, I really like this as far as old resistance now turning into new support. And you can look at the top of this candle and be like, oh, well, 613 was the breakout level. But for me, I want to look at where it, after it came back down from that breakout, where did it go as far as, retest? If we go back to the daily, right, obviously it had massive resistance at that 569 level, right, 568. And now you can see, right, we go back to the hourly, now we're consolidating at that exact spot, right? So old resistance now turning into new support, very, very bullish for me. So I like it. Can is another one that is moving really nicely. This name is now Twitter is all over this one because, the setup looks fantastic. What was it trading at? It was trading at 40, right? I literally remember trading this move, right, from 14 to 30. So does it have big gaps to fill? Yes. Long side trigger for me is 1150. I would like to get a pullback on this before I enter, but this one's going to be a grinder. This might be the next BTBT. Everybody wants to find the next one, but in my opinion, I'd like to wait for a little bit of a shakeout on this name. I like being in names that aren't as crowded, don't have as many eyes on them yet. And that's one of the reasons I like SPRT and a couple others. So, and then a non-crypto name that I really do like today is SoFi. Nice move in pre-market, obviously holding over 17 now. The chart is clear on this one. We know the levels, right? Right, we can see the levels here on the daily. And once we broke over that 17 level, I don't have it pulled up on Webull. Obviously, they don't do volume shelves. But if you look at volume profile, there was a huge volume shelf right here, which coincided with this major resistance at 1680. We've broken over that now. I think next target for me is 1760 on the daily, and then I'm going to look at a move to 21, possibly before earnings, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised. This thing tends to have that day where it makes a $5 move, and it's just nutty volume, right? It comes out of nowhere. This thing is loaded with shorts as well. It's a really big one. But the better Coinbase performs and the better Hood performs, this one will follow it in that sense. Because they have the brokerage side of their business, right? So for me, I want to see confirmation off of that 1690 level, right? I'd give it down to 1680 at open. In my opinion, if we test that 1680 level, I'd be a buyer there on the dip for calls. I don't want to chase 17 plus really, even though this will be a smaller position for me likely. I want to wait for my entry at a solid support. Regardless of how hot last week was, right, or if it was a good week last week, this is a totally different week. And even though it's starting off hot with good volume, those are fantastic signs. You always have to make sure that you're keeping your discipline about you, right? Because that can change any minute, right? We could open up and, everything could completely die, right? So you need to make sure that you're keeping your wits about you. Arguably more important than finding the next monster, right? It's just making sure you're staying disciplined. Not chasing is a big one in this market. Even if things are ripping, you don't want to chase. But that's why you use triggers. That's why you rely on the chart, because, that really helps to fight that type of stuff. So, yeah, and even though Riot earnings will affect Mara, it's different than, you could just tell from the volume on Friday that a lot more people were playing Mara because they feel like it's safer right now, just because, obviously earnings are an unknown, therefore naturally people are going to stay away from it. And Riot's still up really nicely in pre-market, but in my opinion, guys, I've already missed the meat of the move on Riot. Even though I think it has a lot of room up, for me, there's better risk reward opportunities on the table, just better chart setups and things I like more. So, NXTD is going to be really nice. That's obviously I think that was a fantastic entry. It's up nicely in pre-market. I talked about this one last night on the live. It's lagging, and over that one level, we should get, that 140 move. So, in reality, I think 99 is a nice trigger. Psych level resistance obviously is pretty clear on this one, is that one level. It struggles with it, every time it runs, right? It struggles with this resistance clearly, but every time it's broken that one level, we see a really, really nice, it's a pattern, right? It breaks one, we see 140, right? It's kind of that's just how this thing moves, and you can tell that from the daily too. Every time we've broken one, we've seen 140. Come back down, retest, right? Then it went crazy. That was like Bitcoin internet hype, obviously way too overextended, pulls back, right? And then, right, we have buyers here at one. It's just, we meet so much selling resistance at 150. I don't think this is the type of Bitcoin move that takes this over 150, but I think definitely we can see 140 for sure. And then, I want to talk about SOS really quickly again. For me, as far as from a chart standpoint, this one is probably set up the best as far as risk reward. It has so much room up still, and CAN is another one that has really nice room, but the day Bitcoin returns to highs, this is going to be a really, really nice one to have. Whenever you see a move like this, when something is new, right, you get an equal move down, right? What goes up must come down, but again, what goes down, it's got to come back up at some point. And I think this one has some of the best upward trajectory in space. So that's going to be a focus for me for sure. But I don't want to chase, like I mentioned. I want to wait. Ideally, if I got an entry at 315 off open, that'd be awesome. Anything 350 and under for me feels good. But, like I said, I think this has a lot of room. 550, huge resistance. 4 is a big one. But, I think entry in that 350 range is pretty solid. So those are going to be my main watches for today, guys. My plan on coin, just to reiterate it super quickly, is, I'm probably going to scale some at that 282 range. I'm I'm probably going to take off a little bit, after open too. I always am scaling out, guys. You guys can call me paper hands and mans if you want, but I like to scale out. I like to keep my gains. So in my opinion, if you're in this swing from Friday, if you followed the trade, it's going to be a great trade already. Don't let it turn into a loser. Obviously, earnings coming up. I will not be holding through earnings. I'll make that very clear. I don't hold through earnings ever. But I do think there's a lot of room on this chart, so I'm not going to, clear my entire position prior to tomorrow. I think this can have a really nice day even tomorrow. I'm not sure how much I'll hold. Depends on the move we get today, but just need to watch the broader overall market. But yeah, and remember, guys, I'm not going to talk about, there's a bunch of other plays that have really nice breakout possibilities today, but for me, I want to keep my focus in one space because that's when I tend to perform the best. So for me, the crypto space is where I see the best risk reward right now. Even though, we're ripping in pre-market, right? We're trading on a daily basis, not, a longer term basis. So for me, focus on the short term moves. This is where the volume is going to be today. I think I mentioned SoFi because I think it can benefit off of Coin and Hood and a lot of these crypto names. Yeah, guys, a bunch of you guys are asking me if you should buy Coin now. I mean, I'm not probably going to add to my position. Even though we're in this nice breakout level, the only way I would maybe add is I would add a scalp over 282 for a big move, but you have to make that decision. I can't tell you, whether or not. I hate chasing more than anything. That's why I was in the move for 3 days already, or 2 days, but I think there's better opportunities. You don't have to chase Coin, in my opinion, but Coin's going to be really nice. I'm not saying it can't be a good breakout trade, but you need to, if you're going to trade Coin, then you need to adjust your expectations, right? And just remember the fact that chasing will be the end of a man, right? That's, a big one. So, Ebon is a nice name. Calls or shares on SOS. I'll probably play calls. Absolute top watch for today. I think Coin is still my top watch for today. SPRT is another one that looks really, really good to me. I think those are going to be my top names. CLSK is another one, but I'm not going to have I don't come into Mondays with a hard, this is my top watch. I'm going to play this off open. For me, the best trades lately have been waiting, 5-10 minutes, and then the opportunity presents itself. So my top watch today is going to be waiting for an A+ setup on whatever it is, right? Maybe it's Coin pulls back to support at 262. I think that's a great ad spot, right? Or 264, right? If that level confirms off open, I think that's a fantastic ad spot for a move higher. If it gaps off open, like I said, I'm not going to be adding, but and I think obviously the mining names will follow it. So Mara is a really nice watch for me over 3650. All really, really nice ones today. So yeah, and a lot of people are asking that Coin question. Like I mentioned, if it pulls back to that 264 support, right? We've talked about that a million times. We want to see old resistance turn into new support. We know we have resistance at that 264 level, which we cleared this morning. It was huge on Friday, so if you see a pullback to that level, I think that's a nice ad spot. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get ready for open. It is 9:22. SPRT is a play for me this week, likely. I don't know. I'm going to wait to add stuff because, like I mentioned, I want to wait for confirmation. I don't want to hop in something and then the market pull the rug, right? So I'm going to wait, be patient, and get the ad I want. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get ready for open. The watch list has been posted on Twitter, so you guys can see the written recap, and everything should be on there. So let's have a great day. Remember, guys, discipline, biggest thing. And, let's have a good day. Coin should start the day off nicely, and then we'll go from there. So I will see you guys on the Twitter later today. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Trade smart.